What's up everyone, Adam from FWCI Collector's Edition here, and today I'm going to review the second wave of the Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 Ultimate Final Challengers line of figures. I think I got all the title. First of all, make sure you subscribe, help us get to 1,000 subscribers. That is the goal. If you subscribe, it will help. In this video, I'm going to review M. Bison, Ken, and Dalsim, which I recently picked up, and I'm pretty bloody happy. If you haven't seen my review of Wave 1, go back and have a look, because I've got a lot to say about this wave and this line and Jada Toys and what they're actually putting out there, and it's all been great. I'm a huge fan of this. I was very, very excited to get my hands on Wave 2, and ooh, they're good. They're so good. But let's start off with the packaging. This comes in that arcade packaging as well, and like I mentioned in my previous video, the interior of the packaging opens up and it becomes like a diorama or a little backdrop for each figure with their signature background from the Street Fighter 2 Tournament Edition, let's say, video game. One of the Street Fighter 2s. I know there's about 50 of them. So in my opinion, that's a very underrated feature, especially for people that are going to open it up, but it's also an underrated feature if you do want to keep the figure in box, because it gives every single one of them a unique backdrop when you look through the plastic. So 10 out of 10 on the packaging from Jada. They haven't missed a step with the second wave. But I'm going to start with M. Bison. It's M. Bison. It's M. Bison. It's M. Bison. It's M. Bison. M. Bison is very well versed in all matters Bisonic. This figure looks off the chain, and spoiler alert, it's not even the best one in the wave. My first impressions of him unboxed is that this is MF'n Bison. They got the perfect red, the silver looks fantastic, the build and the size of it all matches the game perfectly, the hat is on point, Raul Julia is in heaven right now smiling. So looking at his accessories, this is really interesting. So he comes with the uniform accessories that you get with all of these Jada Street Fighter toys. Fists, open hands, teeth showing face, no teeth showing face. It comes with all that as per normal. He also comes with this purple effect that, is his psycho power, I think it is, from what I've learned. But where this figure gets really, really good is the cape, the soft goods cape that it comes with. And he comes with 2 sets of shoulder pads. That's how the cape is actually connected. So the shoulder pads click onto this little connector on the shoulders, and then if you want cape, you have the cape one. If you don't want the cape, you put the non-cape ones on there. It's pretty straightforward, but it gives you a lot of options, because you've got this beautiful soft goods cape that really is a highlight of the wave and the line for me. And if Jada Toys can do this cape at this price, come on Marvel Legends, what are we doing? And McFarlane for that matter. I know they're just getting into wide capes, but if Jada did it first, come on guys, what are you doing? So looking at the paintwork on these, it's pretty flawless. There's maybe a little bit of very, very minor bleeding between the blue and the red right down the middle, but they're very difficult colors to blend nice and neat. You can see his pupils in his eyes. I don't think I've even noticed that until I just looked at it. I thought it was a little scuff, but no. Little tiny maniac pupils, gold buckle. As I mentioned before, the silver on all of his accessories looks fantastic, and the purple on the psycho power, it just adds the cherry on top. So for a big figure, and he's not gigantic, but he's a very bulky kind of figure, this thing has an absurd amount of articulation. He does the full splits, you got the thigh cut, you got a lot of movement in the ankle, you got double jointed, pinless everything, and all the bells and whistles as usual. But I don't know how they've managed to do this, but he's got so much range of movement for such a big, bulky figure, and I can't even really tell. I think maybe underneath his little, I look like I'm looking up his skirt, but I think like the crotch piece is perhaps a little bit pliable, and that helps. But when you factor in that he's got the butterfly joints as well, and a decent range of motion for the torso, again, he's a thick boy, he's a very thick boy, you can really get a ton of options in terms of poses out of this M. Bison figure, just based on the articulation alone, not to mention all the character and everything else that comes with it. The articulation on this is nuts. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 for articulation. I know there's other things that can be articulated, but how clean this looks, how well it moves, and how well it sort of lends itself to the source material, I don't think you can really get it any better than that. But this is just the opinion of one man, and you've got your own opinion, and everybody's got their opinion, but you know whose opinion I care about the most? Quentin Tarantino. This is the Tarantino test.
Tarantino test.
Yes, this is the Tarantino test. This is the part of the video where I specifically pay attention to the figure's feet to make sure that they are nice and flat, that they have good load bearing, that they can be used in good posing, and Quentin Tarantino is having a wet dream over these M. Bison feet. Nice and flat, they work perfectly and everything like that, combined with all of the articulation that these Jada Toys figures have. He's a very, very stable figure, and you have a lot of options with M. Bison. Probably some single foot options. I mean, what do you think of that, Quentin? Single foot? You into that? Yeah, he's into it. Bison passes the Tarantino test with flying colors.
Tarantino test.
So if you're a fan of M. Bison or the Street Fighter 2 video games and stuff like that, go get this figure. Go and find it. It is so friggin' good. The price point is good, and I don't think you can get better quality action figure than this. At that price, I don't think it's out there. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is, because this is it. Next, I'm going to talk about Ken. I'm not going to lie. I don't know a great deal about Ken. He's American Ryu. He's a Ryu repaint. That's all I know about him, and he has the exact same moves. And when one does the fireball, and the other one does the fireball, and then they meet in the middle, it's pretty cool. That's about all I know about Ken. He's a surfer dude, isn't he? Isn't that what the character is? Like, yo, dude, I'm Ken. I mean, he's a great looking figure. The yellow hair pops, the red gi also pops quite a bit, and the face scans on him are, he looks like Prince Adam, right? He looks like He-Man, doesn't he? So looking at the accessories while we're at it, he comes with the exact same accessories as Ryu, which I guess is very, very fitting. He has the same exact hands, he's an exact repaint. The only thing they've done different with this is a different head, and you know what, Jada? Good fucking work. You guys picked well, and you picked a line where you can get the absolute most out of your molds, because Ken and Ryu, very, very similar, and but it just looks perfect because the Ryu was great, the Ken is also great. The only thing I notice about him is he doesn't have a mouth closed face like all the others does. He's just got teeth for days. Angry teeth and happy teeth. And he comes with a yellow Hadouken as well. Paintwork on this is great. They've added a little bit of because he's a different complexion to Ryu, so, and I think they did it for the Ryu one as well, but they've added just a hint of like almost airbrushing, it looks like, to really highlight the grooves in like the muscles and stuff like that, to make him look like extra ripped and make him look more like the video game. So again, great decision, very, very smart by Jada Toys to do it that way. I don't know if this is a scuff or if this is paint. It almost looks like it might be paint on the pants to make it look a bit more flappy, a little bit more like alive, but I seem to have some like, almost like gray or like almost like dark brown lines on the legs, but they're on both, so I think that's a specific stylistic choice. It looks fine. I didn't notice until I really had a good look. The articulation for Ken is exactly the same as the articulation for Ryu, and as Jada does with all of their toys, they try and make that articulation in a way that complements the poses that people are going to want to try and replicate from the source material. So great articulation on Ryu, great articulation on Ken. It makes sense. They're the same dude. They're the same dude. But just because they're the same dude, it doesn't mean I get to skip the
Tarantino test.
He passes. Of course he passes. These figures are built perfectly. There's no chance in hell that a Jada Toys figure is not going to pass the Tarantino test. I think Chun-Li maybe had some loose ankles, but I still don't have any issues with Chun-Li falling over. It's very, very rare that I feel that the ankles are not sort of up to par. But Quentin Tarantino says, so while this figure is probably a little bit boring, it's absolutely necessary, and it's 100% vital to the collection that they have Ken in it. But I don't know, this figure has not made me a fan of Ken any more than I already was. Is Ken any good, or is he like the scrub? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on Ken. And now it's time for your main event, Dalsim. Now, when I saw concept art of this figure a long time ago, I didn't quite know what to think. I thought it looked too good to be true. But it wasn't. It is true, and this thing is spectacular. There's a ton to get to with this figure, so we're going to jump right in. Alright, first, let's just start from the top of the figure and work our way down for this one. First of all, the head sculpts. We've got two. We've got Screaming Face, and then we've got Stoic Face. If you know this character from the game, you know that that's exactly what you need, both of those styles. So the face is great, but then he's also got these stainless steel earrings as well in each ear, and you've got these on both heads as well. They're very like identical like that, and it just makes it look amazing. It's like proper stainless steel, and again, it just adds so much more I don't know, like realism in a way to these figures. Even though this is based on like a crazy cartoon, there's something about them using those materials for these parts of the figure that it's just such a great choice. Obviously, he's got his peace skulls around his neck, and then we get to the arms, and this is where shit starts getting really interesting. We've already looked at stainless steel earrings and peace skulls. Forget all about that. The arms pop off, and you can put on the elongated arms, and it looks really, really good. They're a little bit tricky to get on there. If you're really finicky about it, you can go and heat it up or something, but I managed to get them on with a little bit of effort. The only thing to keep in mind is the fists that are on these hands, they do not come off. So don't try and do that, they won't come off. But what's most important about this is not just the fact that we've got this like extra stretched out arms and legs, it's that how easy and how quick and simple it is to replace these parts. I mean, they just pop off like a head would, for example. Like, yeah, that sounds weird out of context. An action figure head. Come on, we've been having replaceable heads for years now. But they just pop straight on, and it works perfectly. You've still got all the full articulation for the regular arm as well. And again, Dalsim is such a unique character. Being able to find a way for the price point, which I have to keep mentioning, finding a way to represent him to this degree is quite a achievement. And on the arms, on both the stretched out arms and the regular ones, these little hoops around the wrist are not stainless steel like the earrings are, but you've got, again, it comes with 4 of these pieces. So even if you lose one, you've got spares and stuff like that. They really have spared no expense. I'm guessing John Hammond runs Jada Toys now. Now the legs also pop off, and they pop off right in the shorts as well. So I don't know how that can be taken out of context, but just pop the other one in and it looks so clean. So you've got so many options with this character, and these limbs, they are kind of bendy. I don't know how much you would want to sort of keep doing it, but they are pretty pliable, and again, you've got options with like posing and stuff like that. This figure is off the fucking hook, man. And he also comes with a set of hands that have like the open hands, like the karate chop hands, so he can put them together in his yoga pose or whatever, and then he's got the other hands that are more claw-like. So no fists on this one, but that's accurate to the character. So no flame effects or no yoga flame or anything like that. But again, you've got 4 elongated limbs to do whatever Dalsim strike you want to get your figure into. He also comes with a little tiny stand that the foot can sort of clip into. So you've got something to support this even when you try to pose it, and the balance just is not there because one of his limbs is this long. It's little bits of detail like that that make me appreciate Jada Toys so much. So looking at the paintwork on him, the skin color looks pretty good, to be completely honest. Not a great deal going on in the body, it's just a pair of shorts and some gauntlets, and that's about it. I feel like we could maybe get a little bit more paint on the piece skulls, but I'm not going to complain about that because the rest of this figure is just way too good. Looking at the head, all the red paint that he's got on there is incredibly clean. The eyes are incredibly clean. The teeth are incredibly clean. Dalsim has great oral hygiene. On the closed mouth head, it looks like the bindi got a little bit of red paint on it, but it's a very small detail and it's very easy to overlook.
A what?
Do you know what a bindi is?
Yeah, I totally know what a bindi is.
You're a yogi from India. I'd imagine you'd know what a bindi is.
I do know what it is.
Point to your bindi. No, that's your nipple.
Now let's talk about the articulation of this, because there is quite a bit to cover. Obviously, you've got all the different legs with the options in terms of the stretchy legs that do bend a little bit. The regular legs, Pinless, double jointed, all the usual bells and whistles, tons of articulation in the ankles. You've got a waist cut, you've got an ab cut that's a bit of a crunch there. What I really like about this, you got butterfly joints. What I really like about this is the neck has its own articulation and then the head has its own articulation as well. So for somebody like him that needs to get in some really tricky kind of, almost contortionist-like poses, they've given you all the tools that you need to be able to do that. And on Dalsim, especially with that long neck that he's got, it works great. He is such a versatile figure. That's why I wanted to cover him at the end of this video, because he's the highlight of this whole wave. Bison is great, don't get me wrong, but this is just crazy. Paintwork and articulation for Dalsim, 10 out of 10.
Tarantino test.
Alright, so last Tarantino test for the video, and he passes with flying colors. They all do. They're Jada toys, they're great. Peg holes, flat, it's all good. The only criticism that I kind of have is they print the thing, and what does this even say? I haven't even looked at it. I think it's like a barcode. They put the serial numbers on the feet of the figures, and I don't know, sometimes you want to have the foot like showing and it looks like he has like a foot tattoo, which, yeah, whatever, I can deal with that. That's the only very minor criticism, but I'm guessing that it's a case where they have to put that branding somewhere on the figure, and that's, the easiest place to do it. Can't they brand that on the inside of the figure? Does it really have to be visible there? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What is the deal with these barcodes?
Tarantino.
So my final thoughts on this wave is this is the hard right and the 1-2 punch that has been wave 1 and 2. That wave 1 with Ryu, Chun-Li, and Fei Long, that was like a jab that kind of caught me anyway off guard completely. I was like, whoa! I don't even like Street Fighter. I didn't really play it that much, but that is something that I would like to have in my collection. And now wave 2 is just that hard right. Boof! Right in the head. Bang! It's better than the first wave. It's different than the first wave, but there's still obviously so much continuity and uniformity to how they make these figures. And it's awesome watching Jada begin this journey. Like, I'm so invested in this company and what they're doing with these Street Fighter figures. I heard rumors that they got a Mortal Kombat license. I don't know if there's any, how serious that is. I've seen it in quite a few places though, so there must be some kind of traction. If we can get Mortal Kombat figures to this kind of level of quality, you will see many reviews of that, because Mortal Kombat is something that I played when I was a kid. Mortal Kombat is the thing that I was obsessed with as a kid. So I don't give a shit about Street Fighter, but I love these Street Fighter toys. And I do care about Street Fighter now because of these toys. I care about the characters. I want to learn more about it. But Bison was fantastic, and Dalsim is just next level as well. It's almost unfair for M. Bison to be in this wave because Dalsim steals the show. But man, that Bison is so iconic and so well made. Are these shelf worthy? Yeah, absolutely. I think I said this in the last video. I want to build a house just so I can build a shelf big enough to have this entire set. I even went into my spare room where I have this like random shelf that just had like junk on it, and I cleared it off and set all these up with the dioramas just to satisfy my own curiosity of like, yes, I wonder what these look like all laid out side by side. And I was not disappointed. And one day, I will find the perfect way to display all of these. But until then, they just take prime spot on whatever shelf I feel like they need to go on, which is usually the main shelf. But let me know in the comments what you thought about this video, and let me know your thoughts on Wave 2 of the Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 Ultra Final Contenders action figures. Challengers, contenders. There's so many titles in that. I love this line, and I cannot for the life of me memorize the name of the line because it's one of those absurdly long Street Fighter titles. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Thank you for checking out this video. And as always, everyone, be well, stay safe, look after your figs. See you in the next video. Peace.